Today we will be comparing Renaissance artist Albrecht Dürer and Baroque artist Johannes Vermeer. Albrecht Dürer is considered the greatest Renaissance artist to come from Germany. He was born in 1471 in the city of Nuremberg, which was one of the strongest artistic and commercial centers in Europe during the 15th and 16th centuries. His greatest artistic impact was the medium of printmaking. His father was a goldsmith and his uncle was a painter, and they are thought of as his initial inspiration. He apprenticed with local painter Michael Wagmuth, and their workshop produced woodcut illustrations. Dürer revolutionized printmaking and elevated it to a level of independent art form. He also wrote 4 books of human proportion, but only 1 book was published during his lifetime. He is often compared to Leonardo da Vinci due to their shared intellect and scientific mind in addition to both being artists. Dürer typically relied on his prints for profit and recognition. His works typically have an underlying religious theme. This work is Adam and Eve. The woodcut tells us primarily about the Renaissance in Germany rather than the text of Genesis. He sacrifices naturalism to showcase his mastery of Vitruvian ideals. The 4 animals in the lower right are representations of the 4 humors: phlegmatic, sanguine, melancholic, and choleric. The mouse also represents male weakness, the mountain goat represents lust and damnation, the serpent represents evil, and the parrot represents salvation and is the antidote to the serpent. Another work he is famous for is The Resurrection, which is a work of art that is a part of his 7-print series titled The Large Passion. Much like his other work, the focus is central, in which the central figure is in contrapposto as well. The center figure is Jesus, and Dürer was capturing his ascent toward heaven. This is also a woodcut. Johannes Vermeer was born in Delft. His father was a weaver who produced a fine satin fabric called kaffa. He was also active as an art dealer, and their family owned an inn. Vermeer inherited both the inn and the art dealing business upon his father's death in October 1652. In April 1653, Vermeer married Katharina Bolnes, a young Catholic woman from the so-called Papenhoek, or Baptist corner of Delft. This union led him to convert from the Protestant faith in which he was raised to Catholicism. He registered as a master painter in the Delft Guild of St. Luke on December 29, 1653, but the identity of his masters, the nature of his training, and the period of his apprenticeship remained a mystery. Vermeer began his career in the early 1650s by painting large-scale biblical and mythological scenes, but most of his later paintings, the ones for which he is most famous, depict scenes of daily life in interior settings. These works are remarkable for their purity of light and form, qualities that convey a serene, timeless sense of dignity. Vermeer also painted cityscapes and allegorical scenes. This artwork is called Women Holding a Balance, which is oil on canvas painted in 1664. Unlike Albrecht Dürer's Adam and Eve, as well as his other religious works, this functions as a wealth and piety and spiritual. This scene is of everyday life, but it has lots of symbolism. The woman is dressed in fine clothing, symbolizing that she is a part of the upper merchant class in Holland during the 17th century. The typical cap, made of linen, was worn by women at home. Also, on the opposite wall of her is a window letting in light with golden curtains. There is also a mirror. Right hand has a very fine balance, and there is nothing on the balance. It is as if she is waiting for the balance to come to a rest. The origins of this work has traditionally been linked to Pieter de Hooch, whose goldware matches Vermeer's work very closely. Another one of his works is titled A Young Woman with a Water Pitcher. This is also oil on canvas. Much like his other work, there are several symbols in here indicating wealth and piety. There is a single light source coming from a stained glass window, and the linen cap on her head symbolizes the linen worn by women at home. Once again, Vermeer is depicting his central focus to everyday life. He uses generally muted colors, and he commonly uses blue and gold. His soft-swirled painting style is common in Baroque. This painting style is unlike the etches in Albrecht Dürer's woodcuts. While many of the colors are muted, Albrecht Dürer's is typically sharp and sketched. While Albrecht Dürer's main focus is typically in contrapposto, Vermeer's is always depicted doing something, seen in everyday life. While both artists are well-reputed and very talented, their functions for each work truly show the differences between Baroque and Renaissance. While Albrecht Dürer's works are typically religious, Vermeer's focuses more on everyday life. This indicates that during the Baroque period, they were straying away from religion, and during the Renaissance period, religion played a big part in everyday life.